if I'm going after copywriting clients, I'm making sure that I have testimonials and results, because copywriting clients are more focused on getting those leads into sales or converting people into signing up for something, or for people to get to the end of the page, right? Whatever that web page is. So if you're moving into copywriting, you don't always have to have a pile of testimonials. You don't always have to have a pile of results, but it definitely helps. So when we're moving into copywriting clients, especially if you've been around the block for 2 or 3 years, here's some recommendations that I have for getting better clients and moving up to that next kind of echelon. So the first thing is, go back to your old clients and ask for testimonials. Go back to your old clients and say, hey, remember how we worked together? Kind of ask them about, hey, what's 2 to 4 sentences about how I helped, any results you've gotten, any changes that you've seen from our campaigns or the landing page or sales page, whatever you worked on. Go back and ask them for that stuff, because it helps you get better quality clients. It helps you move up to those copywriting clients who will want bigger and better results, or who want to see someone who is actually making progress for a business. The second thing after you do the testimonials is go track the results, and you can go do this yourself. So you can go back and see web traffic. You can use a tool like Ubersuggest, or you can use another tool like SEMrush or Moz to go in the back end of a website, basically, and look at the traffic. So you can look at the traffic to a landing page or to a sales page. You may not have the exact demographics, or you may not have exactly click-through rates or unsubscribes or that kind of stuff, but you at least have traffic. You at least have a graph that you can pull of growth, and you can use that to help you get better copywriting clients. So we want to make sure that we're connecting with our old clients to gather testimonials. I don't care if it's been a few years. Your job is to get to that next level, and to help you do that, testimonials really help with copywriting clients because they're more results focused, right? The biggest difference between copywriting and content marketing is copywriting is like moving people to buy something almost all the time, whether they're a lead going into a sale or they're trying to get someone to subscribe. They're trying to get someone to take action. So when you have a copywriting client, they're wanting action-focused material, right? They want you to have those clips, or they want you to have those pieces that are pushing you to results. They can see that in your testimonials. So if we can't get those testimonials, then like I said, pull results, pull the traffic, pull the changes in traffic, put that on your website copy or your LinkedIn to say like, hey, I've helped brands improve traffic to website pages or traffic to landing pages or sales pages by 24%. I think that's kind of the best way to get those numbers and also really convince a new copywriting client, because you have to show your copywriting skills in your own website and your LinkedIn to kind of snag them, to make sure that you're all kind of on that same page, and that you all are kind of, you're connecting with those right clients who are looking for you. They know that you have the skills. They can see that from your website and LinkedIn, and they see your clips and or testimonials and or results. So you want to make sure you're tracking and gathering that information. And yes, one of the things I do want to say is that today it is harder to get testimonials. It is harder to get data from your clients because, one, they're a little more territorial about it. They don't want to always share it. But the other piece is that they don't always track it. So if there's some way for you to track it during the project, or to get information from them about tracking it, or if you can follow up with them in 3 months or 6 months to see how things have shaken out, that will really help with you being able to have these testimonials or results to share. The second thing is, when I'm looking at copywriting clients, is that I'm doing things that are kind of in that same niche or that same kind of brand or in the same kind of field. So with copywriting, I want to kind of show them like, I've done that already, right? I'm already in that field. So when we're moving up, I think it's better to kind of look for those brands that are pushing the envelope, or those businesses that are kind of doing something innovative or interesting. Because that way, when you send an LOI and you start working with them, then you end up working on things that are really cool and interesting. It gives you better clips. It gives you better samples to send out to clients. And that really makes a difference in you getting better clients. Now you don't have this really small landing page for like 5 tips about how many grapes you need to eat per day, right? You have a really great lead magnet that's interesting. It's designed well. The copy's great because you wrote it, right? And it's all of these pieces that go together. So when I'm moving up to better copywriting clients, I'm looking for people who are being innovative. I am looking for brands. I am looking for people who are getting funding. I am looking for places that are looking to fill a hole in that niche or solve a big problem. So generic brands, like if I'm going after a brand that's really big or a brand that kind of does some kind of regular ass service, that to me is not as powerful. Like the copywriting that you end up doing is more vanilla. I really want to go after those places that are doing something interesting because that reflects in the overall sample that I'm going to get. It reflects in what it's like to work with them because it can be a fun and interesting environment. And a lot of times they have these smart ideas. You learn a lot from working with those clients about what they're looking for, how they measure the copywriting or the results, how they're looking to position their brand, how they're putting their product or service in the market. And it makes a big difference for how you're putting together your own portfolio or the new clients that you go after or what you're getting. So our copywriting clients, I feel like it's better to go after innovative brands. And there will be times where you work with copywriting clients where it's kind of basic stuff. But as much as possible, we kind of want to get results because copywriting is more results focused. It's more something that you want to have testimonials or you want to have some kind of information to share with these potential clients about what you're doing. But that leads to the next thing. The next thing is more about what do you do if you don't have those results? So I gave you 2 steps, right? Pull them yourself or go ask for testimonials. But if you're getting into copywriting, if you've already been doing content marketing and you want to get into copywriting, I would kind of leverage those skills instead of worrying so much about clips or testimonials or results because you may not have those. Maybe you do. And if you do as a content marketer, you can use those to get copywriting clients. But I would kind of leverage the skills. What kind of skills are you bringing to the table to move into copywriting? What types of things do you think makes a good copywriter? And what types of things are you bringing to that? That's what I would kind of move forward with in my LOI, in how I talk to clients, how to call, how I put content on my website and LinkedIn. I would focus on the skills because your skills are transferable. It's not like when you move from content writing or content marketing, which are basically the same thing, to copywriting, you like lose all your skills. That's not what happens. What ends up happening is you're transferring those to a different type of writing. And most of the time, that different type of writing ends up just being a little bit of a push rather than you giving educational content like you would for content writing / content marketing. You are pushing people to click a button, or you're pushing people down the page, or you are giving them the nudge to buy the product or service, or you're creating something like a webinar that might lead to a pitch at the end, or you're helping them with YouTube content that leads to some kind of pitch. You are really kind of using descriptive and specific language to talk about their pain points and their struggles and how this thing, product, service, what a program solves those things. So there's a big difference in just how you use your skills to move into copywriting. And I think there's this hurdle sometimes that happens where you think it's like selling things is bad. It's not. You buy things all the time, and that is copywriting. You are reading copywriting about the product, whether that's a description or a web page or a landing page, or you are hearing about it on a commercial or on a YouTube ad or something. You're hearing the copywriting, the script, or how the person put together that page. The other thing that we're looking for can be more retainer based. It can be something where we're looking for copywriting projects on an ongoing basis. So we usually have more retainers with content marketing or content writing work, but you can also have them with copywriting depending on what that business does. They could do a lot of stuff and create a lot of content that is more copywriting based, or they could kind of do a mix. So for me, when I'm kind of thinking about copywriting stuff, I don't really want to do kind of one and done one-offs. I don't want to go in there and end up doing just a launch, just the launch for just this sales page and just this set of emails and just this landing page or just this abandoned cart sequence. I want to make sure there's other stuff going on. So you ask about that on the call, right? You want to make sure that there's other stuff in the pipeline. And when you're kind of looking at this I think is a big thing for those kind of mid-tier writers. We want to get away from this kind of one-off kind of launch stuff. Like the launch stuff is great if you have other people who are regularly launching or something that you can do on a regular basis or some kind of retainer-esque stuff. But what I see a lot of times with copywriting is like it's one and done. They did it once and then someone uses that material for many years. And it's really hard to kind of get that consistency in your business or consistency with revenue and income when you're constantly having to do one-offs. So I would really be specific if I'm going after copywriting clients about what else is in their pipeline. Are they going to do a launch, or are they going to set up all this copywriting content and then they're going to do more educational content? Are they constantly launching or creating all these different types of content? What's in the pipeline? How does that work? How are we putting those pieces together? And I feel like those kind of retainer clients or that ongoing work really is a mix. I feel like it's kind of a mix because you wouldn't just do straight copywriting for everything. You would have a bunch of different things going on to have people work in different parts of the content funnel. So you would want educational content in the top of the funnel. You'd kind of have some middle of the funnel content and then bottom of the funnel content. A lot of times your copywriting stuff is bottom of the funnel content, and you wouldn't just be creating that forever. You would kind of want this kind of nice balance. So I would make sure that I'm kind of making sure that whatever copywriting clients I'm considering, it's not just a ton of one-offs. It's someone who has other content in the works or other projects, or they have other kinds of things that they're hoping for you to work on outside of just bottom of the funnel content. So I would pay attention to that for longevity in your business, not having to hop from 900 clients to 900 clients. I would make sure that you're also kind of getting results from those people. Like even if it was one-offs, try to get results from them. And I also feel like that's another thing about making a project high paying is like a high paying project doesn't always mean that you're getting top dollar with every single piece of that project. It could mean that you have that project for like 2 years, right? And that could be a retainer. It could be that you're doing quarterly projects. But you want to kind of make sure that you're paying attention to those things, especially when you're doing copywriting that can be focused on just certain parts of the funnel. How are you feeding that with this client? How are you getting these clients versus just absorbing more and more clients? Because it's better to build long-term relationships with your clients. It's better to learn more about their characteristics and what makes them a good client for you and how you can help them and how they work and how they see the value in the content, how that connects with their audience versus just cycling through client after client after client. Because if you're just cycling through all these clients, you're not there with them long enough to learn about specific things that help you grow your business. So yes, you might have gotten paid a good one-off fee, but what ends up happening is you have this kind of gap period that happens where you're trying to figure out how does this work with getting new clients, or how do I get another one of these, or like, can I just write for this brand, right? Like, can I just write for this type of client in this niche or do these things? And it just becomes very separated. It becomes very separated versus you having ongoing work, or you have a lot of copywriting clients that refer you, right? You kind of have a lot of one-offs where they may not refer you out, and it may be more tough to get work. So we want to kind of combine these things. And I feel like a lot of times when we're combining them, that also helps us grow our income. It helps us work fewer hours. It helps us understand at a deeper level who we're writing for and why that writing works. I think all of those pieces together are really important. And then some of the things that I would avoid people who just ask you about results from the very start. Yes, you want to have results. Yes, you want to have testimonials. But if you're having the same issue as content writing, so let's say you're doing a content marketing or content writing project where they're like, I want to be on the first page of Google. If you get someone who's like, well, do you have like a 50% open rate and like a 1.5% click-through rate? Like if you have someone who's like harping on the numbers instead of getting to know you and your work and the quality of your work first, that's a big problem. So if I was going after higher tier copywriting clients, I would pay attention to people who are just literally focused on results, because those results can vary by time of year. They can vary by audience. They can vary by so many different factors that if we're just focusing on those results, then we're kind of missing the forest for the trees. There's a lot that goes into copywriting and getting people to buy things and understanding the buying process versus it being just someone convinced me to hire you because of these numbers, or tell me how you got all these results, right? If you have a really good case study from a client, or an example of a testimonial or some project where you did really well, I would tell them about that. But we don't want to be in this situation, especially with this results-driven kind of stuff, where we have to feel like we prove ourselves every single time we get on a call. We want people to see our samples. They're like, yes, you can connect with our audience. This makes sense. I love this thing in your portfolio, versus the whole conversation being centered on results. So this is something that I think I would pay attention to. Another thing I would pay attention to with copywriting clients is like, how do they actually see the funnel? How does their funnel of content work? How do they see the different pieces making sense in there? What do they do for their launch? How does their launch work? What has their success been in the past? So there's a lot of different things that we want to know about what they've done in the past, or how their copywriting has worked in the past, or their content, or how people are signing up, how that content funnel works, so then we can improve on that. It's not that we're there to go in and just blow everything up and then make some magic out of it. That's not the goal. Our goal is to go in there and make it better. It's not supposed to be a billion times better. It would be really difficult to do that. But what we want to do is kind of learn where they're coming from. So these are things we want to suss out. We want to look at their website. We want to do recon on our clients before we ever get on a call with them. And then we want to be particular on the call. We kind of want to hear about their process, what they're thinking, their goals, how they've set things up in the past, how they're planning to set things up in the future. And I feel like that kind of helps you get a better grip on, is this client for me? Do they understand the copywriting process? Do they understand that I'm not like some magic fairy godmother who's going to wave a wand and results will just like shine upon them? That doesn't work. So we want to make sure we're on the same page. And then the last thing too is that I would like some kind of ongoing thing. So I want to make sure I know what else is in their pipeline. I don't want to just be doing landing page after landing page after landing page and then it be one-offs and not getting referrals out of that or results, or doing a lot of small copywriting stuff. I would like to set kind of a minimum for that. So let's say you're doing a sales page and a landing page and some emails. You want to hit somewhere between 3 and 10K for that, depending on how much you're doing, maybe 5 to 10K. You want to kind of get in these ballparks of what you want for that project, and then you want to figure out, like, is there more stuff in the pipeline? So we want to have a good chunk of work to do. We don't want it to be kind of like you're doing a lot for a little amount of money, because the whole point of copywriting is that they're making money, right? They're trying to get results. They're trying to get people to sign up, or they're trying to get people to buy something, or they're trying to get people to take some kind of action. So keep that in the back of your mind, that copywriting, even if it doesn't work today or tomorrow or next week or next month or next year, eventually it will, right? They're going to put it up there. If you do good work, good copywriting when you're connecting with that audience works, and your clients will continue to benefit from that launch after launch, or they keep that sales page up on evergreen and they keep winning from that, right? So you want to make sure you're getting paid appropriately for that, not just transactionally for like, oh, it's only one sales page. You want to make sure you understand the long-term value of that content. So when you're going after these copywriting clients, I want you to keep those things in mind. And I want you to kind of have some things in the pipeline. I don't want you to just do one-offs. I feel like one-offs get you into this hamster wheel. It can put you into feast and famine a bunch. And I feel like there's a good balance. If you have a good balance of both copywriting and content marketing clients, that kind of helps you too when you're moving into something like marketing strategy or messaging and positioning or brand strategy or content strategy. You have kind of this funnel overview, how the content works, why it's helping them solve their pain points, how it connects with the audience, why you're doing these competitor analysis, and how to like analyze different types of data. All of these things, when you're kind of doing this mix of like sales content or copywriting content, or you're doing educational or content marketing content, that kind of mix really helps prepare you for doing really great projects. So I hope this has been helpful. Our next one that we're talking about is retainers. We're going to go a little bit more into how do you get them, or what does that look like, or what are kinds of some strategies that we're doing for retainers. And I will see you there.